And happy holiday, guys! We're closing out 2021. It's your girl, The Essence, right here on The Essence Show. And do I have a one-to-one exclusive for you that you do not want to miss? I have a reoccurring special guest who has been on our show 3 times. This will be his 4th time. And this will be an exit interview because he has decided to retire from politics. I am speaking about the one and only Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. Yes, he is on the show today. We have so much in store. We're going to speak about updates on the Bronx, COVID, unemployment. We're going to speak about gun control. We're going to speak about updates on the Bruckner and the Cross Bronx and our parks. I'm going to ask him what he has stored for the future. Maybe we can see him on a stage becoming a hip hop artist, since he's always involved and has this love for the Bronx and our music. And I'm just excited, but I'm kind of sad. But hopefully I will have him back as a friend and we can just powwow. So I want to welcome you guys back because it's been some time that you haven't seen my face. Sometimes we have to take a little break, recharge. We're getting caught up in life. You know, we want to bring the best to you. And sometimes we have to work behind the scenes to bring that to you, right? So happy holidays once again. Thank you for joining me right here this evening. And we're going to get started. I just wanted to give you a few things about Ruben Diaz that maybe you guys don't know. In the last year and a half, he's been working very hard. I mean, he's been in office for a long time. He's been reelected. We just love him. And he's done an amazing difference for our communities. And I'm just honored to have him in my circle, to have him as a friend, to have him as a colleague, for him to give me the respect as a host and come on my show and trust my platform. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 times. I mean, that's awesome. We met a couple of years back at the Puerto Rican parade, and I just kind of said hello to him, and time kept going, and I was in the industry, and we would meet up and meet up and meet up. And eventually, one year at Bronx Week on Marshall Parkway, he saw me and he told John DeSeo, who worked right next to him, his partner, get me on her show. I got to get on this girl's show. And that confirmed everything for me. I knew that I was in the right place, doing the right thing. It was my purpose. And here we are right now on the first set of our interview at Nightline back in the day. And here we are now. So we've had our own little journey. We've had moments. We've been in events together. I've had his blessings for the community board job that I've had for about 2-3 years now. So it's been a pleasure working with him. He's raised over 300,000 pounds of goods for individuals in Puerto Rico, and that they were affected by Hurricane Maria and earthquakes. He also has provided homes to hundreds and thousands of units of affordable housing for seniors, LGBT communities. He's participated in support of expansion of 4 Metro North service lines that will provide service to the East Bronx, which is so dope. He also helped provide for Camp Jr., honoring Lisandro Jr. Guzman, who has passed and was killed in the streets of the Bronx, which would be for the New York City youth to go and develop lifelong skills and confidence. In January 2021, through public and private partnerships, 1,000 laptops were distributed through the Bronx communities during COVID. And groundbreaking of hip hop happened here on May 2021. Provided new space for us to have this hip hop museum that has also honored him, which I'm so excited for. He has put about $4.2 million towards that, so I cannot wait. Apple Store is finally making money in the Bronx. We finally have an indoor Bay Plaza Mall that has an Apple Store in it for us. That took about maybe years, I want to say a few years to get in. He has funded 1,086 projects around the Bronx, estimate of $35 million, or I should say $356 million. Also invested over $30 million to Orchard Beach, $3 million to construct sensory playgrounds. I mean, the list goes on. The list goes on. He has allocated over $83 million funding towards 87 park projects to improve, and including Woodlawn. He has put some money into funding the Bronx Children's Museum. I mean, he's transformed the Bronx as much as he can. And I know we think that he's God and we always look for him like, why, when, how? But he has done so much to make our community special. I'm a native of the Bronx. I was born, raised, and still here. And as a child, I didn't have these resources. And now as an adult, we do. So thank you for contributing all this to our community. I can't wait to speak to him. I'm so honored to have him on the show. And yeah, we're going to get started. We're actually going to take a break. We're going to check him out and some work that he's done. I mean, he's partnered up with other politicians to do SNAP for students that are in college, that they don't have to worry about food and necessities, but they can worry or just focus, not worry, but they can focus on their school academics. So we have been trying to make the Bronx a better place for us to feel safe and for us to want to come into to visit, because the Bronx is a beautiful, beautiful borough. And I'm not saying that just because I'm from here, but we actually are very resilient and we're very strong. And we got the flavor that no other borough got. So bring it. And if not, you better get in line. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back on the Diaz Show.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Dad! Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me.
That was perfect.
But I heard every word.
Nice.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! Go?
Excellent. Soccer is fun. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. We're the family.
Yeah!
Oh, I thought you were on my team.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Special guest, one-to-one exclusive, with a recurring guest that has been on the Diaz Show about 3 times. And before he leaves office, we need to have him close our journey together right here. So I have my special guest, Ruben Diaz, Bronx Borough President, soon to be in retirement. We're going to speak about so many things because there's so much on the plate and there's a lot of questions. So let's get started. Ruben Diaz, are you there?
I am. What's up, DS's? Good to
Hey, Ruben.
It's a pleasure.
It is an honor for me to have you on one of your last days in office back on the DSN show and to let us know what you're going to be up to in our near future and all the updates of the Bronx in the last year or two. So thank you for being here. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling excited. Obviously, I'm coming to an end after being an elected official because it's not just the borough presidency. I'm coming to an end on my political career, which started when I ran for district lead at the age of 21. I ran for the New York State Assembly when I was 22. I lost that race, became the assemblyman at the age of 23, served in Albany for 7 terms, almost 13 and a half years. And over the last 12 and a half years, I've been the Bronx Borough President. So it's time for me to close this chapter in my life, which has been so good to me. It's been the opportunity and the job of a lifetime, a dream job of being president of my hometown and, starting to prepare for the next chapter in life.
Well, what do we have plans for the next chapter in life? Inquiries, minds wonder.
Well, I'm not prepared to tell you exactly what it is, even though I have, made a decision. I'll tell you a couple of things. Number one, it will not be in government. And number two, it will still be in an area where I'm helping Bronxites and people of New York City. Like, I always want to continue to help folks. That's how I'm built. That's part of my DNA. But I'll just be doing it from the other side, maybe the private side, not I won't be an elected official and I won't be in government. But stay tuned. Maybe that back.
So are we going to get into hip hop? Maybe become a performer, perhaps, since we're always on stages?
Well, I don't have to get into hip hop. Hip hop is already in me. Hip hop raised me. One of the greatest things about my borough presidency was when we were able to have a conversation about bringing a hip hop museum and ultimately seeing it to fruition, where we had the groundbreaking ceremony. It was an epic day. My man Fat Joe was there. That's my brother. That's somebody who I've known for over 25 years. We had Nas, LL, Chuck D. Like the who's who of hip hop was there that day. Obviously, I've inducted many people from hip hop to the Bronx Walk of Fame. I see that you have Sal, Fat Joe, Crazy Legs, and Joe Conzo, who is meant to, that we've had Ja Rule at Orchard Beach. We have KRS-One on the stage with the best of them. So with this hip hop museum, I know that we're gonna make it a destination point. We want to create jobs. We want to celebrate the elements of hip hop. We want to do it where everywhere in the planet they know that when you come to New York City, you got to come to the birthplace of hip hop, come to the museum. We want to be able to induct people to the Hip Hop Hall of Fame so that they're not just going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And, yes, I truly expect to be part of that movement of making sure that that museum is built, that we raise the amount of money that is needed so that we can do it the right way, and so that we can show the world that this natural resource called hip hop, this genre of music that has taken over the planet, that came from the Bronx, is also going to be on full display for the whole world to celebrate.
Absolutely. I actually want to ask you a very interesting question. Have you faced any diversities because you are a politician that's so into hip hop? I'll give you a reason why I'm saying this is because there was one time I was in your environment and you were yourself doing what you do. And I remember someone that you worked with was kind of like, can you just kind of, So I kind of took note of that. And I was wondering if that's something that you dealt with during your journey, and how did you, kind of say, back off, this is me and this is how I am?
Well, more so in the earlier parts of my political career, this is something that people close to me were saying, you got to be able to temper that. Look, the fact is that perhaps my pronunciation or enunciation of words is not as crisp
like
as
Mashulu or Mashulu.
Maybe some of that hip hop, body language is on display it's more than it should be. So early on, a lot of folks were like, "Oh, wait a minute, we don't want you to be too street. We don't want you to be too, too urban, right? Especially being so young." In fact, I'll tell you one thing. I've always wanted a hip hop museum, but I had to be mindful, even when I first got elected to Borough Hall, that wasn't sort of like the first thing that I championed with all of the things that the Bronx needed. I know that it would have not sat too well with many Bronxites if this young guy coming in, well, we need to create jobs, we needed to curb crime and this and that, to just speak about hip hop. So unfortunately, the reason why it took so long for me to come around is because I knew that I had to take care of other things in my first term. And it wasn't until my second term that I really started to talk about the Hip Hop Museum. Shout out to Rocky and to Cutman and to all of the people from the Universal Hip Hop Museum who have partnered up with us. Shout out to also Ron Molis and all of the pioneers of hip hop who informed me as an individual. But yeah, I had to deal with a lot of that. But it comes a point in time where you have to be authentic to yourself. And now everybody wants to embrace hip hop, including the U.S. Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, who we know is at Orchard Beach with us. He came with a resolution from the U.S. Senate proclaiming the Boogie Down Bronx the birthplace of hip hop. And he even tried to drop some bars, that went viral.
I love that. I love that. Well, you've been known as a hip hop ambassador. You were featured in Source magazine. Funny fact, you almost got ran over by Fat Joe. I mean, you're pretty well affiliated with the hip hop world. But on a serious note, because I can get back to that, what's up with the gun violence? Do you have anything that you want to talk about with gun control? Our borough of the Bronx has turned into, I don't know, an unsafe place for me due to the violence. Do you want to approach that in any way?
Well, we continue to do all that we can to create jobs for people and opportunity. When I first got to Borough Hall, the unemployment rate was about 14%. And the February before the pandemic hit, we saw that we went lower than 5%. 117,000 more jobs were created since the first day that I took office. We see a lot of the development going around, and people forget about what the Bronx was like when I was a teenager, when I was even started as an assembly member. The homicide rate in 1990, the year when I was 17 years old, and all through the 90s was over 600 homicides a year just in our borough. You don't even see that in all of New York City, right?
Wow, right.
But the fact is that crime has gone up. And it's gone up because before the pandemic, we enjoyed 8 straight years of the homicide rate. You can't celebrate that because one homicide is too many, but 8 straight years of homicide being under 100 in the Bronx.
Wow.
Post the pandemic, people lost their jobs. You have so many things like, the mayor of the city of New York and not having the current mayor, not having the confidence of the NYPD. People protesting the police department, wanting to defund the police department. You got things like drill music. If you really want to get into hip hop, that's a form of hip hop that's on social media where gangbangers and gang members and even people without flags, everybody's trolling themselves. Everybody wants to be a tough guy. Yeah. But nobody wants to do this anymore. So, everyone is, there's easy access to guns. Guns that are coming in from other states. New York State has the toughest gun control laws in the entire United States, but people are buying them in bulk in areas like Florida, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, even Pennsylvania, and they bringing them here. And so there's easy access to it. And so all of that with the anxieties, the mental health issues has really spiked up violent crimes where, quite frankly, people are concerned, and there should be that level of concern, and that's the reason why we got to support the incoming mayor, Eric Adams. Got to support our NYPD folks. While we have to hold them accountable if they don't do policing in the right way, but we need the police officers. We need to support them, And nobody's immune to violent crime. My brother was stabbed twice in the head and once in the neck by an employee. He worked in the New York City NYCHA Authority, New York City Housing Authority. And that person made bail. And last summer, while he was out on bail, that individual went and shot and killed somebody. So, the system, from the judges to backlog to district attorneys, all of it has come to a head. And I think that more and more people are starting to realize that we all need to come together to address all of it, where, yes, we want to give people a second chance. Yes, we want to address mental health issues. Yes, we want to address, all of the social economic issues that contribute to somebody feeling compelled to go into the life of crime. But we have to give them the resources, the kids in the schools, job opportunities, business opportunities, so on and so forth. All of that has to happen. We tried to address a lot of it, but the pandemic hit and things went left. But I'm confident that now, with the new wave of elected leaders, just like we've been resilient in the past, when there was the crack pandemic, when the Bronx was burnt down, when there was violence in the 90s, we were able to, turn the page. We'll continue to do that moving forward.
And I love how Fat Joe and Up NYC will be coming to the Bronx, or is in the Bronx already, which I think should have been the first stop. But when I realized that they will have a learning center after school programming, I said maybe that's why they needed more time to come to the Bronx. Also, we have Spofford Youth Detention Center. Oh, I froze? Okay. Yeah, I don't know how this interview is going to look right now, but we're going to get through it. Spofford Youth also is providing space for local Bronx businesses and entrepreneurs. So we are kind of getting involved.
D, go back to Fat Joe. That was the last one.
Yeah, Fat Joe and Up NYC is planning to have a learning center for after school programming. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And his beautiful store is over there on Alexander Avenue.
Okay.
And he has always proven that not only is he someone who's made it and has traveled all over the world and is making a few bucks, yes, but he also always thinks about the Bronx. He's done computer centers with us. He's restored libraries in schools. He's given out free sneakers for kids who have really excelled academically and with their behavior. He now has opened up his third sneaker store, 2 of them in Manhattan. This is the one in the Bronx, but this one has a learning center with free computers, free Wi-Fi accessibility to the kids who need to do their homework, need to do research, and don't have the equipment at home or don't have internet access. So, I love him. He's my man, and I'm looking forward to do even more things with him, even after I'm out of office.
Beautiful. Guys, we're going to be right back. We're going to go to a short message. We'll be right back with Ruben Diaz, Bronx Borough President.
Oh, hey, Audrey Fuente here. I'm hanging with my girl D'Essence on the D'Essence Show, so get in line.
Hey, I'm Natalia Fernandez, State Assembly Member for the 80th Assembly District. I'm here on the D'Essence Show. Get in line.
Yo, que lo que, te habla Cacique, también me conocen como Victor Almanza, tu actor favorito de Power Empire 1155. I'm about to drop some ish, you know what I'm saying? So te estoy diciendo que se pongan en línea. ¿Sabe lo que significa? That means get in line. The Essence Show.
Peace and blessings, King and Queens, the King Amadeus, multi-platinum bad boy hip-hop producer, Trey Songz, music director, tour drummer. I'm here with the Queen, the one and only, The Essence Show. If you're not in line, you better get in line. You heard me? King Amadeus, platinum boy music.
We're back with the D'Essence Show with Ruben Diaz Jr. We're talking about numerous things about the Bronx, updates, COVID, unemployment, gun control in our communities, his future. Why is he leaving office? Because we don't want him to leave, but he has to move on with his life, right? We all have to move on. I wanted to speak to you about gentrification because it's kind of taking over the South Bronx. Our Bronxnites are getting kind of worried that we're getting pushed out. And is there any way that we can just bring in the money through independent Bronxnite vendors? Are we working towards that, or is that not a thing?
I've done that my entire life, right? And my entire political career. especially at Borough Hall. If you look, number one, the one thing to do with gentrification is that you got to create jobs with the amount of salary so that people can afford a roof over their heads. Number two, you have to have it so that businesses, local men and women from the Bronx, are benefiting in the area. So think about the Lit Bar, Noelle Santos. Shout out to her. She's from Hunts Point, but she's got her bookstore over there. You have,
Bronx native.
Bronx native, Amari. You have
Bistros.
Up NYC is Fat Joe. He's from the Bronx. Bistros, those guys are from the Bronx. Just the other day, we did the Chaco Bar, Puerto Rican, right? So you have around the corner, you have Bricks and Hops. That's Willie Colon. He's from the Bronx. So yeah, you see a lot of development, but remember that area over there there was nothing there. It's not like we push people out and develop where they live. Now in the surrounding area, we need to make sure that you have landlords that are not harassing tenants. That's the reason why we have a tenant bill of rights. That's the reason why we passed funding, funding so that anybody making under $50,000 or less gets free legal counsel if they have a tenant that takes a landlord that takes them to housing court. Also, what we have to realize is that there are a lot of Bronxites who are doing okay. And once upon a time, we were taught to leave the Bronx.
Yeah.
Right. So, we could do affordable housing, and that's a whole other show that we can talk about the area median income. But when folks say, "Oh, who's it affordable for?" people have to understand that 50% of the area median income for a family of four, which is the area median income for them is $90,000. 50% is $45,000. There are a lot of Bronxites who make more than $45,000, but then they're told that they make too much.
Right.
For a family of four, 2 family members working full-time at minimum wage make $50-something thousand. So people say, "Oh, we need 50% of the area median income." Yeah, there are folks who need that lower area median income, but we're also pushing out our working class professionals who deserve to pay only 30% of their income. That's what the affordable housing program does. It says that when you make money, de-essence, you shouldn't be paying more than 30% of your income towards a roof over your head. So yes, we do that for people with lower incomes, but what happens when we have a bus driver who's married to a teacher? Do we want him to leave the Bronx? We want him to be able to benefit by staying and only paying 30%. And then there are a lot of professionals, a lot of Bronxites who have done well for themselves. I don't want them to go to Long Island. I don't want them to go to Westchester. I want them to be able to live in the nice buildings too. And we deserve that. And that's the reason why, but the thing is that we've been so beaten in past years that if you bring in a nice restaurant, if you fix a public park, everybody thinks that that's gentrification. Yeah. No, that's for us. When we don't do it, people say, "Oh, why is that happening for other communities, but in other boroughs, but not the Bronx? Why does the Bronx not get what other communities get?" So, we want everybody to be able to benefit and we have to continue to create the opportunities, create the jobs, and also the living quarters for people in the Bronx to stay here, so that we don't have what's called brain drain. We don't want
absolutely
professionals to go to other areas. We want people to stay here and continue to better the borough.
What is our update on the Bruckner Cross Bronx? The lovely Cross Bronx.
It's the Bruckner Sheridan interchange. That is one of the most significant projects in the history of our borough, something that's been talked about for 50 years plus.
Wow.
And finally, we were able to get the state to put in $1.8 billion. Wow.
Why so long, Ruben? Why so long?
Because people didn't have the money. They didn't want to give the Bronx the money. They do the infrastructure in other boroughs. And finally, we had the relationship with the state and say, no, you're going to also pump infrastructure in our borough as well. So that's what you see on the Bruckner. Now, the Cross Bronx is different. The Cross Bronx now, the new wave of elected leaders like Richie Torres and others, they're fighting for federal dollars to cap it so that you can cover the Cross Bronx in certain areas and have public space and green parks on the top. and that's phenomenal, and we applaud and commend them for that.
Absolutely.
That's another project that they're championing moving forward. I was able to bring in with Marcos Crespo, who is no longer elected. We were able to negotiate the Bruckner-Sheridan interchange, and that's already in. You see it in like phase 2 or 3, and we're looking for cars to be able to drive on that widening. You know, the bottleneck when you drop from the Bruckner going towards Soundview. That's where the rubbernecking happens. We're going to widen that. We're going to have trucks go from the Sheridan on an overpath right into Hunts Point, so they're not traveling around the community and putting people's health at risk, or even worse, you know, maybe hitting a pedestrian or something. So, you know, that's something that we've been working on for a very, very long time.
Wow, and I'm so happy to hear that it's in action, you know? Any update on Puerto Rico? And do you feel like we should be working to get it in a state? Part of states?
A statehood. And, you know, a lot of people who don't want Puerto Rico to be a state, guess what? There are people who live here and they benefit from being here in the United States, and they benefit with the right to vote, and they benefit from representation, but they're not over there. And yet they say, oh, Puerto Rico shouldn't be a state. So if Puerto Rico was a state, it would have more members of the House of Representatives than about 20-something states. It would have 2 U.S. senators. Currently, we don't have 1 U.S. senator in the history of the United States that's ever been Puerto Rican. We would have 2 U.S. senators, because we would have more electoral votes than about 23, 24 states. So we would be significant in the eyes of whoever wants to run for president of the United States. And we wouldn't have a president coming to us and throwing us paper towels at the height of a hurricane, right? At the height of our pain and misery. In fact, one of my proudest days was when we collected over 300 pounds of clothing and material and supplies for Puerto Rico over here in Aldous and Southern Boulevard.
I was there.
It was the spirit of the boogie down Bronx on display for the whole world to see. And even though we're not the richest borough, we came through big for not just Puerto Ricans, everybody, blacks, whites, Italians, Jews, everybody came through for Puerto Rico. In terms of Puerto Rico itself, you know, I was there last month. They're still hurting from the economy. They're hurting from earthquakes. They're hurting from still the after effects of Hurricane Maria. They're hurting from professionals leaving the island. They're hurting from the federal government not treating them like what they are, which are Americans. And it's sad. And we hope that, you know, with so many of the Puerto Rican voices that we have, and others, but people like Nydia Velázquez and Ocasio-Cortez and Richie Torres, that we make sure that this Biden administration respects our family members and our extended, like the extension of the Bronx and the extension of New York City, which is the island of Puerto Rico, respects them in a way where they get all of the resources that they deserve as Americans.
Goodness gracious. Okay, any words on our next borough president? Vanessa Gibson, you have passed the throne. So a queen, I must say. I love it.
14, number 14. So we all have numbers. That's what we call each other. I'm number 13. I'm lucky number 13. Vanessa's going to be a ball of energy, as she's always been. She's somebody who always shows up. She understands all of the issues. Some of the major things that we've worked on, like the Jerome Avenue rezoning, the corridor, she was the lead on that. And so to make sure that the city stays true to their commitments and to their promises, it's good to have someone like Vanessa come in. She's the first woman elected to Borough Hall. This is the only borough that has the majority of its residents being female. So it gives you that voice, right? She's gonna need all of the elected officials to bandy around her and to coalesce with her vision. She needs to set a vision for what she wants to do next. And I'm sure that she has all of the energy and all of the faculties to be able to execute. So you know, again, life isn't perfect, and there's so many things that we could have done, but we lay down a solid foundation, and that's why we have government, and that's why we have elections, And that's why we have a new generation of leadership, so that they can pick up the baton and work on the things that we started, but also then take it to the next level. And that's what we expect from them.
Did you ever plan to do something for our communities and it just didn't work out well? Or do you have any regrets of not doing anything for a certain thing for our community?
My biggest regret is that I wasn't able to help individuals as much as I could.
That's very sweet. That's like your heart speaking right now. That shows how humble you are. That's nice.
A lot of folks, you know, obviously there are projects that didn't come to fruition, but people need help. And a lot of folks, look, people are going to look at your program and say, nah, we don't like Ruben. He could have done more, this and that. What that really boils down to is, of all the things that we were able to accomplish, did it really touch somebody as an individual? Right. That's what people want to know. And folks come to our office and, you know, maybe they didn't get the results because I don't control city agencies. I don't control state agencies. I know that the borough presidency title sounds like a powerful, you know what I mean? Yes. You know, so, and there are people that we've been able to help directly, but there are a lot of folks who just either couldn't get to us, or we couldn't get back to them, or the agencies, even though we reached out to them, just the results didn't work out in their favor. That's my biggest regret. I'm one who wants to help as many people as possible. In terms of projects and things like that, you know, everything happens for a reason. The projects that have worked out, like the 4 Metro North stations, like ferry service, like the restoration of Orchard Beach, the museums, the Children's Museum, the Hip Hop Museum, the High Bridge. Like, I mean, the list goes on, right? All of these things, that happens for a reason. Things like the Kingsbridge Army that didn't work out, which it was no fault of government and the elected officials. It was the developer who totally fumbled the perfect opportunity. Maybe the stars were in a line for that. And with Vanessa and the incoming, you know, leadership, they have even a better idea, right? Yeah. I mean, you know, Spofford, we tore down Spofford, which was a place where dreams went to die for young Black and Latino men all over the city, right? Where some of the fellas on the block went. We were able to create housing opportunities and recreational space and economic space there. So whatever happened for a reason, and whatever project didn't happen, that's also for a reason. But for me, it's about individuals. How do you touch individual lives, and how were you able to better their lives? And unfortunately, there were so many folks that just didn't get the results from me and our office that they deserve.
Now, how do you handle that negative feedback on a personal level? Because like you said, you are a public figure. People think you're God because you have this borough president title to you. There's times that certain, like, oh my God, horrible things happen in our community and people are looking for you, like, where's Ruben? Where's Ruben? And then when you do make an appearance, maybe 2-3 days later, you're getting bashed for that. How do you handle all of that? Because you want to be so involved with the community and be there for the people.
Look, it comes with the territory, but what I don't want is for people to think that I don't care. Okay. And obviously, you know, once you get to a situation where people see you, it's not that they necessarily mad at me. It's just that I'm the face of government right in front of them at that time. And and this is the Bronx, baby. They're gonna let you know exactly how. That's what we do. We wear our emotions on our sleeves. And I did it for 26, 27 years. And, you know, now they will do that to other elected officials.
Exactly. What's one thing you think would never change about the Bronx? One thing. Our tenacity, our resilience. I can't say one thing. Like, resilience is very important, though.
Our flavor, like it's this thing. It's a brand. It's who we are. It's wherever you come from. We part of the Bronx. As a matter of fact, you can't change the Bronx. You can't even change somebody who comes from the Bronx and lives in the Midwest now, right?
So true.
So there's no change. It's just it. It is what it is. This is where we're from. This is who we are. This is how we behave. These are our mannerisms. This is how we speak. You know, and we just, no matter where we are, I call it the Bronx diaspora, and you just can't change that. You either love us or move out the way.
That's right, or get in line, right, Ruben?
Yes.
Oh, you messed up, you see? You see, my hashtag is very valid. So real quick, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I have to ask because people ask, why did we not go for the mayor? I know there was rumors around that I do not want to partake in, but we did have rumors about maybe it was the history of with dad, maybe it was the campaign money. What's going on? Or is it just that you don't want to do it, the responsibility of it?
Well, look, the reality is that I appreciate everyone who helped me out. I was raising good money. I was getting around the city of New York, and we were getting a lot of good support. My father is who my father is, and he's always been that way. And I've always, if people thought that I had a good chance of being mayor, that was despite whatever they thought of my dad, right? So we were always able to delineate our differences, and I love the man, and he's always been true to wanting to help people, but we've differed on political sides.
Understood.
To anybody who's listening to this, whenever you want to go for something that's big, like whether it's politics or not, but in this case, let's talk about politics, mayor, speaker, U.S. senator, governor, president of the United States, you have to want this 1,000%. It's got to be something that you really, really want to do. And for me, running for mayor, I didn't want to do it unless I had my family feeling the same way.
Got it.
And if my family, look, I always wanted to make sure that my family was out there with me to show the world that a Puerto Rican family from the Bronx was a family of professionals, a family of diversity, a family where we had, LGBT, where we had, young and old, dark skin like my father, light skin like my mom, where we had cops, retired sergeants, military MPs like my son, techies like my son, my other son, Ruben, and my niece, Natalie. I wanted to show the whole world that, but when my family stopped feeling it, when they said, we no longer want this, then I stopped feeling it. And, people have to respect that. And I'm going to go off. I'm at peace.
I love that. Yes.
I'm going to be all right. But I'm still going to continue to, do my best to be involved in certain things and to help people and to help better the Bronx.
Who's taking care of the events now? We have Bronx Week that I look forward to every year, Summer Stage at Orchard Beach, the Latino events, the Windows of Hip Hop. Like, where are you going? Are you still going to be there doing these things?
No, that's called number 14. So Vanessa, that's now on the next borough president. And, the reality is that every borough president, right? A lot of these things you didn't see before I got there. Every borough president has their priorities and their flavor. And, and she'll come in with her vision, what she wants to do in terms of events. And, we'll see what she has in store for the Bronx.
All right. I think we're going to go to a quick break and then we're going to come back, close out the show, and welcome the new 2022 right here on the Diaz Show.
When I first got into Borough Hall, one of the big things that happened was then Mayor Bloomberg wanted to bring in a mall in the West Bronx at the Kingsbridge Armory, and we killed that project. And I got pegged initially as being anti-business, but that's not what I was about. For me, it was just about not only do I want people to do business in the Bronx, I want people to do business with the Bronx. And so we took that stance because City Hall wasn't doing that. They wanted us to keep crumbs and be happy with crumbs. And so now that I'm finishing out my tenure at Borough Hall, to have the premier business institution in the Bronx Chamber of Commerce recognize me, I think it's full circle. It's a great feeling because it shows that it's not how you start a relationship or how you start, a tenure, it's how you finish it. So to the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, I want to thank you for this recognition. I want to thank you for your partnership. I want to thank you for your patience. I want to thank you for helping me execute. And so of all of the accolades that I get as the borough president, the reality is I could not have accomplished any of this, obviously without my staff, without other elected officials, but certainly without the business community in the Bronx. I appreciate you all, and I'm just looking for bigger and better things from the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, from the Boogie Down Bronx in years to come.
Is Ruben Diaz Jr. leaving the Bronx after your tenure?
Hell no.
And we're back right here on the Diaz Show here with Ruben Diaz Jr., Bronx Borough President, our 13th. He's about to retire. It's about his last day actually in his office. He's had a great day. I woke up to him on Fox 5 with those beautiful ladies of Good Day New York. I want to send you off with blessings and wishes. I want to know one thing that you can share about Ruben Diaz that no one knows.
That I like romantic comedies. That I love the Wendy Williams show. You want to say, there you go. I mean,
no, that's good. That's good. Who are we listening to on your speakers nowadays?
I've been practicing roller skating in the hallway of my building. So when the weather gets warm, I go roller skating. And I'm not talking about.
And then you can skate. You can skate with Swiss Beats.
Yeah, I'm not talking about inline. I'm talking about with the four wheels. It's the first time I've been on skate since I was a teenager.
I love that. Please don't bust your booty. Favorite thing about the holidays?
Look, because of COVID, it's not the same, right? But we, in my family, we have a new bundle of joy. So my parents' youngest grandchild is Billy. Billy's 22 years old. So, you know, when you don't have little kids anymore, it's not the same. But my brother's youngest daughter, she gave birth to Grayson 8 months ago. So my parents have their first great-grandchild, my brother's grandfather, and everything it's all about Gray. And we're looking forward to having Christmas with this little bundle of joy who's already strong enough that you can, you know, shake him up and he laughs and he's, you know, 8 months old. And so I'm looking forward to that.
That's so sweet. Since we're a hip hop lover, are you watching Versus?
Always.
What's your favorite one?
So I tell you, I was there personally with Fat Joe and Ja Rule. Okay. I had fun that night.
That was a good one.
I like Big Daddy Kane and KRS-One, even though I thought that, I mean, I'm KRS-One all day. I just thought that Big Daddy Kane was smoother that night, so I was frustrated. I didn't like what Bone Thugs and 3 6 Mob, what happened there. I thought it was bad for the Versus brand. I love it more. I mean, my favorite one. My favorite one probably wasn't even the hip hop one though.
That's interesting.
My favorite one was probably Babyface with Riley.
Teddy Riley, yes.
Yeah.
What a mess that was, but it was an awesome one.
Probably my favorite one, yeah.
Okay, well, that's it, guys. I try to get as much as I can in our show. I mean, I can talk to Ruben for hours, but thank you, Ruben, so much for joining us. Do you have any last parting words that you would like to express before we let you go?
Yeah, first of all, I'm so proud of you as a Latina doing your thing with your energy, with your information. Keep doing it. I expect great things from you. And to the entire Bronx, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity that you've given me as a Bronx boy who played in rubble, who was able to create jobs and create housing and fix our parks when we didn't have many. When I was growing up, I used to jump on dirty mattresses, where I was able to clean up the Bronx River, where we have fish and beaver now. The same Bronx River that had cars dumped in it when we used to jump in that murky, nasty water. I was able to allocate millions and millions of dollars for the restoration of Orchard Beach. Like, I bleed the Bronx. Mm-hmm. I like to say that if the Bronx was a person, you're looking at him, baby. I won't say goodbye to all of you. I'll just say I'll see you soon. Peace.
I love you, Ruben. Thank you for giving me all your attention when you're on the show. It's been an honor just sitting with you and speaking. I remember the first time I met you. You were also the first person I ever presented at a podium at an event. That was the first time I ever spoke in that room. And I hope to, I don't know, hopefully hang out with you now, because you're not so busy like that, you know? You're not the politician.
Yeah, people say, "Oh, we're gonna miss you." The fact is that now I get to really enjoy the borough. So that's what I'm saying. I see y'all soon.
Thank you, Ruben, for joining the Diaz Show. We will speak. Thank you guys for joining in, tuning in, supporting. Happy holidays. Stay tuned for 2022 right here. I'm your host, Diaz. Mwah. Get in line.
COVID-19 has changed how we spend weekends with the girls. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to brunching instead of late-night munching. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts. As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Should I get it?
Is it safe? Should I wait?
It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when vaccines are available to you.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
And there you have it. All you wanted to know, rumors and all. Diaz had it covered. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you got all your information. And it was a pleasure sitting here with him as he exits the office of being Bronx Borough president. I have a lot of memories with him, and I hope to have him back on the show to just do a powwow and see what the future brings him. I want to wish everyone that's watching a happy holiday. I feel a little emotional because it's a bittersweet moment. And we've been through a lot this year, including myself. So I want to send blessings and love to everyone that's out there struggling, going through something, living life, finding happiness, healing. We're all in the same boat. We're all going through something. So be nice to each other. Enjoy your holidays with your family. Heal. Heal. That's all I have to say is just heal. You will see a difference in your life once you heal and give yourself that time. I haven't been on television for a few months because I needed to heal. I needed to recharge. I needed to revamp. I needed to get in the mind of Diaz and see what's the next step. And sometimes you have to take a break. But when you come back harder. And I came back with Ruben Diaz. It's his last day in office. He's exiting out December 31st. And it was an honor to have him on. We welcome our new Bronx Borough president, Vanessa Gibson, with open arms and love. And I'm working my booty off to see if I can get her on the Diaz show so we can start a new journey with a new member of our community. Yeah, it's been trying times, and I just want everyone to know that you're not alone. Diaz is always here. You know where to find me. You can reach me on IG, Miss Diaz1. You can email me if you have any referrals or you think that anybody is worthy being on the show. Bring them my way, and continue to get in line. Get in line with yourself. Get in line with God. Get in line with your family. Get in line if you ain't part of the Diaz show. You know what I mean? Stay tuned for 2022. I'm working on new things. I'm thinking of maybe relocating. So we shall see what the journey's like. But I am not going nowhere. So you stay tuned and you stay watching the Diaz Show. Have a good night, y'all.
What's up, y'all? It's the Boogie Down in the building! Everybody throw your X's up. Throw your X's up. What's up? Do I got something there? Do I have something? All right, yeah. Thinking of a master plan. It ain't nothing but sweat inside my hands. So I take it to my pocket, all my money is spent. So I can keep up the deal coming up with rent. So I start my mission, be the resident. Thinking how I feel I got that message now. I used to be a stick-up kid, then I think of all the easiest things I did. It's the road. It's the battle! It's the battle! Somebody leader of the USA! Come on, y'all! Come on! Hey, Chuck, do you know how to... You got the bars, Chuck? We got the music. We got it all. We are the Bronx.
I remember this one moment. I ran to kind of the water edge, and my mom said something along the lines of like, now it's your turn. Take that first step. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. There's some light within her that makes me continue to do the climate science work that I do. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. As moms, we care about our children and the environment they grow up in. And for Mia, I want you to know that I worked really hard to be a part of the change and to make it a better place for you.
Bring it.
Time out, guys. I'm late to dinner. My mom's gonna kill me. Catch you guys later.
Mom wants us home. Okay. Bye, guys.
You guys need a ride?
Sure. Yeah. All right. How about some one-on-one?
I gotta go eat, man. Sorry, I'll see you later.